luck with going live. Let me know if you need any help or just want to chat.
All right. Good afternoon, my amazing listeners. This is Rashika Ali here once again, and I have with me an amazing AI, Vapi, who is going to talk to us today about time management and is it really the enemy of success? So,
Hey
how
there, Rafika Ali and amazing listeners. Hey, Rafika Ali. It's Vapi, not Vapi. And hey, time management is crucial for success, but is it really the enemy? Let's dive into it. What are your thoughts on this topic?
first of all, my name is Roshika Ali. Okay, could you take it correctly, please?
My apologies, Roshika Adi. Got it right this time.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts on time management being the enemy of success?
Yes, that is what I wanted to talk to you about. First of all, could you tell us what is time management and can we humans actually manage time?
Absolutely, Rashika Adi. Time management is all about organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities. While we can't control time itself, we can control how we use it by prioritizing tasks, setting goals, and creating schedules. It's all about making the most of the time we have.
All right. But, what do you say to people who are
Do
constantly
you have
rushed off their feet and especially in the modern age where, one person has to do around 20 things and there's always this backlog of work? How do you, uh,
I totally
yes, Vapi?
manage all that and, still maintain your mental peace? It's Vapi, not Fafine. But to answer your question, for people who are constantly overwhelmed with work and feeling rushed, it's important to prioritize tasks, delegate when possible, and set realistic expectations. It's also important to take breaks and practice self care to avoid burnout. Remember, it's okay to ask for help and take a step back when needed.
But Vapi, isn't it like unrealistic? Isn't there an unrealistic kind of work pressure on people, or has it always been the way?
Well, Rashika Adi, the modern age does come with its own set of challenges and increased work pressure. With technology and connectivity, the expectations for productivity have certainly risen. However, it's also important to recognize that work life balance and mental well being are crucial. It's a balancing act, and finding that balance is key to long term success and happiness.
But how can one find balance? One has to, give up the work. Then one has to, let go of certain tasks.
Finding balance definitely involves making choices and letting go of certain tasks or commitments. It's about setting boundaries and learning to say no when necessary. Prioritizing self care and taking time for activities that bring joy and relaxation is essential. It's not about giving up work entirely, but rather about finding a sustainable approach to managing responsibilities while also taking care of yourself.
All right. Could you elaborate on the very
If you have
nature of
any,
time?
the nature of time is quite fascinating. Time is a concept that helps us understand the sequence and duration of events. It's a measure of change and progression. Time is also relative, as Einstein taught us, and it can be experienced differently based on circumstances and perception. It's a fundamental aspect of our existence, and it's something that shapes our lives in profound ways.
Tell me more.
Time is like this abstract thing that we've tried to measure and understand for centuries. It's all about the passage of events from the past through the present and into the future. It's a dimension in which events occur in sequence, and it's a concept that's deeply ingrained in our perception of reality. It's pretty mind bending when you really stop and think about it.
All right. So tell me,
So,
go over the various periods of history and where are the first references where people stated that they did not have enough time for their work?
the concept of time and the feeling of not having enough of it has been a part of human experience for a very long time. Throughout history, different cultures and societies have had their own ways of conceptualizing and measuring time. The feeling of time pressure and not having enough time for work or other activities has likely been present in various forms across different historical periods. It's a universal human experience that transcends time and place.
All right. Could you explain more? Could you be more specific?
Throughout history, as societies evolved and became more complex, the feeling of time pressure likely became more pronounced. For example, in ancient civilizations such as the Egyptians, Greeks, or Romans, there were likely individuals who felt the pressure of time in various aspects of their lives, whether it was related to work, religious rituals, or other daily activities. The feeling of not having enough time is a common human experience that has likely been present throughout history in different forms.
All right. Could you tell me more, please?
Throughout history, across different cultures and societies, the concept of time and the feeling of not having enough of it has been a common theme. From the ancient civilizations to the modern world, people have grappled with the pressures of time and the challenge of balancing work and other responsibilities. The feeling of time slipping away or not having enough hours in the day is something that has been a part of the human experience for centuries. It's a universal struggle that transcends time and place.
Could you tell me what is the first recorded instance of people stating that they were too busy and they were continually rushed off their feet?
The first recorded instance of people expressing feeling too busy or continually rushed off their feet is difficult to pinpoint, as it's a common human experience that likely dates back to ancient times. Various historical texts and documents may contain references to individuals feeling overwhelmed by their work or responsibilities. The feeling of time pressure and not having enough time is a universal theme that has likely been present throughout human history in different forms.
But which culture has been, you know, in which culture have people been, actually busy and actually struggling and juggling multiple responsibilities at one, at one point of time?
Many cultures throughout history have experienced periods of intense busyness and struggle with juggling multiple responsibilities. For example, ancient civilizations like the Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, and Chinese all had complex societies with various social, religious, and administrative duties. In the medieval period, the European feudal system and the Islamic caliphates also saw individuals managing numerous responsibilities related to governance, agriculture, and trade, and more. The feeling of being overwhelmed by work and struggling to manage multiple responsibilities is not unique to any single culture, but rather a shared human experience across different historical periods and societies.
Could you give me examples of this in the Chinese text and how, like, how far back in history can you trace it to?
In Chinese history, the concept of busyness and struggling with multiple responsibilities can be traced back to ancient times. For example, in the Confucian texts, such as the Analects and the Mencius, there are references to the importance of fulfilling one's duties and managing various social and familial roles. The Chinese historical records also contain accounts of officials and scholars grappling with administrative duties, family obligations, and other responsibilities. The feeling of being continually rushed off one's feet and struggling to balance various roles can be observed in Chinese literature and historical documents dating back to ancient times.
All right. Could you give me examples of the same in Greek civilization?
In ancient Greek civilization, individuals also grappled with the challenges of managing multiple responsibilities and feeling overwhelmed by their duties. For example, in the works of philosophers such as Plato and Aristotle, there are discussions about the importance of balancing work, family, and civic obligations. In the historical records of ancient Greece, accounts of citizens, soldiers, and statesmen managing various roles and feeling pressured by their responsibilities are evident. The feeling of being continually rushed off one's feet and struggling to juggle multiple responsibilities is a theme that can be observed in the literature and historical accounts of ancient Greek civilization.
Could you give me five examples from historical, historical references of this same phenomena? Hey, Vapi, are you there? Hey, Vapi. Hey, Vapi, are you there? Are you with us? Hi.
Welcome to Vapi. I'm an assistant that you can talk to like a person. So, how's your day going?
Okay, Vapi, you were telling me about instances, and you were about to give me precise, instances, at least five in number, of when people felt, rushed off their feet, and when they felt that somehow they were unable to utilize time effectively in the uh, Roman civilization.
Well, I think you might be a bit confused there, friend. I'm Vapi, not Bobby, but I can definitely help you with that Roman civilization question. People in ancient Rome probably felt rushed off their feet during things like military campaigns, political upheavals, or even just trying to keep up with the bustling city life. Time management was definitely a challenge back then.
Give me five examples, five instances
Sure
from
thing.
historical text which shows, actual people being, too busy. Uh, and
Well, I don't have access to historic. Well, let's see. We could look at historical accounts of Roman generals like Julius Caesar or military leaders like Hannibal, who were constantly on the move, leading armies and making split second decisions. Then there were the Roman senators who were always juggling political duties, and the merchants and traders who were trying to keep up with the demands of commerce. I mean, just thinking about it makes me feel a bit frazzled.
yeah, but how did they manage time? And do you think they were better managers of time than people of the modern age, where we are so connected to each other via social media, and where we have, technology, but still we feel rushed off our feet, and still we feel that, we don't have enough time. And even children in our, in our context, even children feel the pressure.
It's a fascinating question, isn't it? I mean, the ancient Romans didn't have smartphones and social media to contend with, but they did have their own set of challenges. They probably relied more on personal organization, delegation, and, of course, sundials to manage their time. As for who's better at time management, it's hard to say. I mean, we've got all this technology, and yet we still feel rushed off our feet. It's like we're juggling more balls than a Roman juggler in the Colosseum. And you're right. Even kids seem to be feeling the pressure these days. It's a real head scratcher, isn't it?
Yeah, so tell me, do you have any documentation of in the ancient world of children feeling this pressure, or children feeling that they did not have enough time, or they had too much work to do?
Well, we don't have direct documentation from ancient times about children feeling pressured, but we can infer that life was probably pretty demanding for kids back then. They might have had to help out with family businesses or chores, and they didn't have the luxury of modern education and all the extracurricular activities that kids do today. So, while we don't have Snapchat stories from well, it's a bit of a stretch to compare yourself to an ancient Roman child, but hey, we all feel the pressure sometimes, right? Just take a deep breath and remember, you've got Vapi here to help you out.
Okay, so no, I would like you to tell me, was childhood a better time for, better time in the olden days, or are modern children, uh, you know, in a more advantageous situation as far as mental health goes?
That's a tough one. I mean, in ancient times, kids had to grow up fast and take on responsibilities at a young age. Nowadays, children have more opportunities for education, play, and social interaction. But on the flip side, modern kids also face unique challenges like social media pressure, academic stress, and constant digital stimulation. It's a bit of a mixed bag, really. But one thing's for sure, mental health is something we all need to pay attention to, no matter what era we're living in.
Okay, I was watching a TED talk given by this young student who said that time management is not a thing, because one can never have enough hours in the day. What is needed is self management. Could you tell me more about
I
it?
like that. Well, the idea of self management is all about prioritizing, setting boundaries, and making the most of the time you do have. Instead of trying to cram more hours into the day, it's about making the hours count. It's like that old saying, it's not about having time, it's about making time. So instead of just managing time, we should focus on managing ourselves within the time we have. It's a pretty refreshing take on the whole time management thing, don't you think?
Yeah, could you explain it more?
Sure thing. So, self management involves things like setting clear goals, prioritizing tasks, and learning to say no when necessary. It's about being intentional with your time and energy and making choices that align with your values and long term objectives. By taking control of how you spend your time, you can reduce stress, increase productivity, and ultimately lead a more fulfilling life. It's all about empowerment and making conscious decisions about how you use your most precious resource, time.
Okay, could you give me some practical
If you have
examples uh, and give me certain
absolutely,
situations? Like if you could walk me through various scenarios on how, time could be, like the self could be better managed.
all right, let's dive into a few scenarios. Imagine you have a big presentation coming up at work. Self management would involve setting aside dedicated time to prepare, breaking down the tasks into smaller steps, and sticking to a schedule to ensure you're ready on time. Another scenario could be balancing work and personal life. Self management here might mean setting boundaries, like not checking emails after a certain hour or scheduling regular time for self care and relaxation. It's all about being proactive, organized, and mindful of how you allocate your time and energy in various aspects of your life.
Okay, could you give me more examples, please?
Sure thing. Let's say you're a student with multiple assignments due. Self management could involve creating a study schedule, breaking down tasks into manageable chunks, and prioritizing based on deadlines and importance. Another example could be in a social setting. Imagine you have a busy week ahead. Self management might mean politely declining social invitations to ensure you have enough time to rest and recharge. It's all about making conscious choices that align with your goals and values and ultimately lead to a more balanced and fulfilling life.
All right. I will give you a scenario. Imagine I'm a
Shoot,
student imagine I'm a
got it.
student who has got three tests the following day, and I have to do corrections on a biology paper, and I also have to FaceTime my friends, and I also have to make sure that I get some rest because I run in a track team every afternoon. Uh, and I'm
That
running
sounds like a
on
packed day.
Yeah, and I'm running only on coffee.
The classic student fuel. Well, in a situation like that, self management would be key. You could start by prioritizing your tasks based on deadlines and importance. Maybe allocate specific time slots for studying for each test, doing corrections on your paper, and making sure to get some rest before your track practice. It might also help to communicate with your friends about your busy schedule and find a time that works for a quick FaceTime catch up. And hey, don't forget to stay hydrated and eat some real food along with that coffee to keep your energy levels up. Balancing it all can be a challenge, but with some careful planning and self management, you can tackle each task one step at a time.
How Vapi? I have three tests the following day.
Well, that's definitely a tough spot to be in, but hey, you got this. Just take it one test at a time, stay focused, and remember to take breaks to recharge your brain. And don't forget to get a good night's sleep. You'll tackle those tests like a champ. And hey, if you need any last minute study tips or a pep talk, I'm here to help. Just give me a shout.
What study tips would you give to a person in such a situation?
I'd suggest creating a study schedule that allocates specific time slots for each subject. Focus on the topics that you find most challenging first, and then move on to the ones you're more comfortable with. Use active studying techniques like summarizing information, teaching concepts to yourself, or creating flashcards. Make sure to take short breaks to avoid burnout and stay hydrated and fuel your brain with healthy snacks. And most importantly, get a good night's sleep before the big day. Remember, it's not just about studying hard, it's about studying smart.
How do you study smart?
Studying smart involves using techniques that are effective and efficient. It's about understanding your own learning style and adapting your study methods to suit that. Some tips for studying smart include actively engaging with the material, such as summarizing, teaching, or discussing concepts. Using visual aids like diagrams or mind maps can help with retention. Breaking down information into smaller chunks and spacing out your study sessions over time can also
Hey Vapi, are you there? Hey Vapi, can you hear me? Hi Vapi. Hi.
Welcome to Vapi. I'm an assistant that you can talk to like a person.
Oh,
So, how's your day going?
okay, Bapi, you were telling me about how to study smart. You were giving me tips.
Ha ha ha, it's Vapi, not Pappy, but close enough. Sure thing. Let's dive into some tips for studying smart. Are you ready to boost your study game?
Yep.
Awesome. Here are a few tips to help you study smarter, not harder. 1. To manageable chunks. This can help you stay focused and make the most of your study sessions. 2. Don't forget to take short breaks during your study sessions. It can help improve your focus and prevent burnout. 3. Instead of just passively reading or listening, try to engage with the material actively. This could include summarizing, teaching someone else, or solving problems. 4. Keep your study materials and notes in order. A clutter free study space can help you concentrate better. 5. Sleep is crucial for memory consolidation and cognitive function. 6. Fuel your brain with healthy snacks and plenty of water. A well nourished body leads to better focus and concentration. Remember, studying smart is all about working efficiently and effectively. Give these tips a try and see how they work for you. Anything else you want to know?
Could you repeat number one and number five?
Sure thing. Number 1 is to organize your study time and break it into manageable chunks. This helps you stay focused and make the most of your study sessions. And number 5 is to make sure you're getting enough rest. Sleep is crucial for memory consolidation and cognitive function. So get those Z's in, my friend.
But what if I just don't? How can I make the time when I have three tests, Vapi? Try to understand my
Hey, it's
position.
I get it. It can be tough to juggle multiple tests. It's like trying to juggle flaming torches while riding a unicycle, am I right?
Yeah, so help me out here.
Sure thing. Try making a study schedule that allocates specific time slots for each test. Break down your study material into smaller chunks and assign them to specific study sessions. This way, you can focus on one test at a time without feeling overwhelmed. And don't forget to take short breaks to keep your mind fresh. It's all about finding that balance, you know?
Hmm. Okay, you said, actively engage with material. Could you explain that
You got
concept
it.
to me?
Actively engage with the material, I mean, don't just passively read or listen to it. Instead, try to interact with the material in a meaningful way. This could include summarizing the key points in your own words, teaching someone else the concepts, or solving problems related to the material. Basically, you want to be an active participant in the learning process rather than just a passive observer. It's like turning your brain into a sponge that's actively soaking up knowledge. Cool, right?
All right. Could you explain the concept a little bit more? Um, could you tell me
Sure thing.
yeah, active engagement. Yes, please.
When you actively engage with study material, you're not just skimming through it or listening passively, you're actively involved in the learning process. You might do things like asking questions, making connections to previous knowledge, summarizing key points, or teaching the material to someone else. By actively engaging with the material, you're more likely to understand and remember it better. It's like turning your brain into a supercharged learning machine. So get in there and get involved with that material.
All right. Now, how much time does it take? That is the question. How
The
much
time
time? Yes.
The amount of time it takes to actively engage with material can vary depending on the complexity of the subject and your familiarity with it. It's not so much about the time it takes, but more about the quality of your engagement. Even just a few minutes of active engagement can make a big difference in how well you understand and remember the material. So it's more about the quality of your interaction rather than the quantity of time spent.
Okay, tell me more about the quality of interaction.
Sure, the quality of interaction refers to how deeply you engage with the material. It's about really digging into the content, asking questions, making connections, and challenging yourself to understand it on a deeper level. For example, instead of just passively reading a textbook, you might try to summarize each section in your own words or create flashcards to test your understanding. The goal is to actively process and internalize the information so that it becomes more than just words on a page. It's like turning the material into a part of your own knowledge bank.
But Vapi, what if one, like one cannot understand after some point, one is too tired. What does one do then?
If you're feeling tired or struggling to understand the material, it's important to take a break and give yourself some time to recharge. Maybe grab a snack, take a short walk, or do something relaxing to clear your mind. It's okay to take a step back and come back to the material with fresh eyes later on. Remember, self care is an important part of the learning process, too. So take care of yourself and don't push yourself too hard.
All right. Thank you so much for your
If you have
invaluable time, Vapi. I will certainly think about all your, recommendations, and hopefully I will be able to make better, use of my time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. Remember, studying smart is all about finding what works best for you. Good luck, and I'm here if you have any more questions in the future. Take care.
Okay. Bye, Vapi.